Hey, it's me, Renee. I'm back. And today I have something different for you. As I said recently, I filmed recently, I don't think I'll post it, so yeah. But yeah, as you might notice, recently I've been doing a lot of TBRs and hauls, book hauls, and library hauls. Another tag now and then. I haven't done that many of these, so yeah, this is a list of actually 7, not 5, but 7 underrated reads. People start reading this book. No one. Not a lot of people talk about these books. Some people obviously talk about them because they have been like people bought them at some point in time. Like some of these books are a bit older. Well, most of these are a bit older. What is old? None of them came out this year. Let's put it like that. Uh, and um, and yeah, they're not really books that talked about that much on BookTube. They're books that at least some of them have like been bestsellers, or like they haven't like sold little. I mean, they've sold enough that they're creating more books for their authors. But yeah, generally they haven't really been talked about that much, except like a small niche of people. And I was like, you know what? I want to share some love to these books. And also because it's contemporary, because it's October, Halloween. And I decided to go for only fantasy books. So all these are fantasy books. They have scary elements here and there, but like they're not horror books. But yeah, if you kind of want to pick up a fantasy book for October and be a little bit scared, you can pick up one of these. So yeah, as I said, most of these are older. I suppose you could probably find them at your local library. Well, if you're lucky and have a good local library, you'll probably easily find them on ebooks because ebooks are easy to find and however old they are. But yeah, like in the bookstore, since they're a bit older, they'll probably be a bit difficult to find, I'm thinking. But yeah, they exist out in the world, so you can get a hold of them. They're not like sold completely. And 2 of these I just bought online, used, but still, so they're still available to get, even though they're older. And yeah, let's get to them. First, we have a book that I actually talked about. Well, I recommended it in a comment, but I haven't talked about it. Well, I've talked about it before. I haven't talked about it in a little while. It is Next Together by Lauren James. So this is a YA. Oh my god, what's the word again? YA rebirth situation. Rebirth. That's not called rebirth. Reborn? No. When people are born and born again, born and born. But yeah, reincarnation. Reincarnation. It's a reincarnation story. And so yeah, it follows Henry and James. Sorry, Catherine and Matthew through. I think it starts on like 1200. Okay, yeah. Anyway, it has like lots of different timelines. So there's one timeline in 1745, one timeline in the First World War, and then modern day. Well, no modern day. This one, I think that the one that's present, I think it's actually like set in like 2022 or something, and like this came out 2 3 years ago, so it wasn't like present, but it was present-ish. Uh, and I believe there's 3 or 4, maybe 5 past timelines. But yeah, so you have like it switches between like having a scene. It's not just like a chapter, but you have like one scene from 1250 with the 2 characters or one of them, one scene from 1800s, and one scene from the present, and one from yeah, all that stuff. And yeah, they're all really good in different like they're all just interesting for how they are. They're also like you kind of soon like know that something happened with 2 of them in like the present timeline, or like something might happen. So this foreshadowing and stuff. So like thinking, oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? And there's also for Catherine in the modern day, she's in STEM, so that's really cool. She's actually in college, so it's like she's like 22 or something. So even though this is a YA book, she's older than a teen, but there's no explicit sex or violence. I would say it still fits as a YA book. Also, if you really like books with mixed media, they're starting here. You have notes from like letters from like the olden days, and then you have like different notes like this, and yeah, so it's quite a bit of like mixed media in that way, and that's very cool. And yeah, it is a standalone-ish. There's a sequel, though it's more a companion sequel in a way. And also the way it ends is kind of like, what? And the sequel kind of doesn't really explain it in a satisfying way, at least in my mind. But anyway, this book is just amazing, amazing. One of my favorite newer duologies, and yeah, highly, highly recommend it. And it's not, and as I said, this is one of the new ones, so I suppose you might find it in the bookstore. And it's not very long, it's 350 pages, or 360. And this one, which is the first in the series, came out in 2015. So, God, 6 years ago now. But yeah, so it's not old, but it's older. And yeah, The Secret Fire by C.J. Doherty and Karina Rosenfeld. It's kind of fun with like a collaboration with two authors. And this is urban fantasy. It's set both in Paris and England. And you have prophecies, and you have secret societies, and you have what's the word again? Prophecies, secret societies. You have curses, all these cool things, but like set in modern day. And I love both curses and prophecies. A lot of people don't really like the tropes, but I love it. And this is just done so well. It's told in multiple point of views, from Taylor, who's English, and blah 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 blah. Sasha, who's French, and they're the same age, but they're different because they're different nationality and stuff. And yeah, it's just so fun to read this story. It's just, yeah, very well done. You also have like secret societies and monks and scary monks and stuff like that. And yeah, highly recommend it. We have an older book again, and this one came out in like to say 2011 maybe. 2011. Not too bad. So yeah, actually 10 years old. It's also a book I haven't read myself in quite a few years, but I remember it being awesome. So yeah, I'm still including it. And it's Wake Unto Me by Melissa Cack. C-A-C-H. Cack. Says. Sauce. I don't know. Sorry, Lisa, if I'm saying it wrong. Actually, don't really know if she wrote anything much more than this book. I just know that she wrote this. But yeah, and as you can see, it's a love story between a teen human and a ghost. And yeah, I really like love stories like that, like impossible stakes, and they still like they survive and they manage, then they persevere. And yeah, so it's set in this old castle, and you have like he haunts his castle, and she moves into it, and then love happens. And yeah, I remember it being very good. So if you're into that kind of stuff, check it out. And then we have a book that I talked about actually, I think pretty recently. Well, recently-ish, like this year. It is Starry Nights by Daisy Whitney. So this is set in Paris. It's set in it's set in one museum in Paris. It's not like the Louvre, like one of the big ones, but it's set in a museum in Paris, where art museum where they have lots of art. And pretty early on, Julian, the main character. So it's kind of fun to have a YA book told from a male point of view. But yeah, Julian, the main character, he discovers that the art comes to life at night. So slightly like night museum-ish. But it's much more like about like the appreciation for art and how important art is. And yeah, there's some stakes in it, but I would say like it's not scary. Scary. It's more like, oh my god, how will you fix, like, how will all this stuff be wrapped up in a good way? And yeah, it's wrapped up in a nice way. It's definitely and yeah, this one I have reread once, but yeah, still twice. Yeah, at least once, and it holds up so much. It's yeah, a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful story. Then we have Frog Kisser by Garth Nix. So this actually came out pretty recently. It came out in 2017. So this, I think, is the most recent book in my pile. When did this one come out? I'm just gonna check. This one came out 2013. So yeah, this is the most recent one in this pile. And yeah, it's by Garth Nix, who's quite famous. He's famous-ish. He's Australian author. He's Australian author. He is an Australian author. He wrote the Sabril series, and he also written some other books. Uh, Honestly, for me, Sabril wasn't that good, but Frog User is amazing. And he also has another book called blah 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 Newt's Emerald, which is amazing. I have an audiobook and it's so good. But yeah, this book is very good. It's a fun take. It's kind of like a fairy tale remixing. It's not really a fairy tale retelling, but it kind of like it goes into like those fairy tale tropes and kind of turns them on its head. So it's like princesses who have to kiss frogs, and then you kiss frog, and in this one she's kind of trying to find one specific prince, so she has to kiss a lot of frogs. And then there's this evil stepfather who's trying to take over the country, but he's an idiot stepfather, so it's yeah. And yeah, it's just a very fun, very interesting take on fairy tales and those tropes. And yeah, highly recommend it. Valkyrie Rising by Ingrid Paulson. So this is a standalone YA fantasy, well, YA mythology. A standalone. I would have liked more, but it kind of works as standalone as well. It's set more or less 100% in Norway, so that's quite fun. So, like, if you want to read a book set in a different country, check out this book. It portrays Norway in a good way. It's not like done wrongly. It's done very well. And yeah, so early on, blah blah blah. Early on, the protagonist, who's called Ellie, discovers that her grandma and like her family are Valkyries. So like she has to like protect the world from demons and stuff. And then yeah, there's more stuff to it than that, but that's kind of the gist of it. And this book happens over the point of a summer in Norway, and also actually blah 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 blah. Actually, I can't think. I might be wrong there, but actually, I can't believe that actually Loki is the villain here. So if you like Loki, the Norse mythology god, check this book out. And yeah, then we have Old Magic by Marion Crowley. My first favorite read as a teen. I found this in a flea market as a teen. Actually, I found it in Norwegian, but yeah. And then I had to re-bought it news recently because I couldn't find it in Norwegian. Suddenly been just I've lost it for somewhere. I'm not sure. I've moved so many times. But yeah, Old Magic. Amazing story. You have witches, time travel, curses, and just scary as shit. Villains so scary. Like I reread like for a long time. I reread this more or less yearly, and like when I was 2 3 years ago, I reread it. I was like, oh my god, this is so fucking scary. So like at 27, I'm still so scared of it. So I suppose that might say something about me, or might say something about how scary the villain is. But yeah, also like at the time when I found this book, a lot of the book that other that I found was like a girl goes to a new school, needs to have friends, or girl goes to a new school, wants boyfriend. This is not on this. Yes, these two are not getting together, but the main like conflict, the main idea of this really is to like stop his family curse. It happens very quickly, like you know this quickly, so it's not a spoiler. But yeah, it's about stopping his curse, and then they accidentally fall in love by the end of it. But it's not like a huge part, I suppose. It's there, but it's not a huge part. And also Kate, Clarence here, she has some friends, and she doesn't really care about getting more friends, and she's just so happy with being herself. Doesn't really try to be popular or different to be someone else. And I just love that message. And yeah, and it's pulled from both Kate and blah blah. I'm an idiot. Jared's always knew it, most knew it, but yeah, Kate and Jared's point of view. So it's Mitch's point of view, and that kind of like in a way started my love for multiple point of view stories as well as time travel stories. And I still to this day, I also love time travel where you have time travel and like time travel and magic, or time travel and historical versions of time travel, and yeah, I mean something like not just time travel but something more happening. Which often time travel books, like there's a big chunk of time travel books that were just time travel, and then a big chunk that are actually just like time travel and stuff. And yeah, that is a little my that is my little portion of recommendation books. I hope you're intrigued by any of these books. Maybe you want to recommend a book you don't feel is talked about that much to me. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.